Welcome to SimTV on this beautiful Monday evening, and welcome to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And this time, we're not on the oval, we're on the South Oval portion of the road course here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the second round of the 2019 3WideRacing League Triple Crown RovalCross Series. And last week at Homestead-Miami Speedways, we saw quite an event there, fitting a lot of fuel strategy going on. But tonight, we race a very different racetrack at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a 1 mile oval, but tonight it's a 1.5 mile road course with 13 turns that heads outside of the oval on the back straightaway.
Yeah, definitely one of the weirdest roval configurations. I think one of the only rovals out of all the cup tracks that goes outside the track rather than maintaining in the inside.
I do want to find someone that's on track right now that is working their way through. So actually, we'll ride on board with Austin Darbyshire here in the number 66 car. Or not. Well, how about we pick someone else that's got a little bit more stable connection? How about Corey Lindsay? We're heading up the hill here. Let's get the track map open. You can follow along and follow this driver here as Lindsay navigates the infield road course portion here, Finian. Very high banked, very blind, tight corners.
Yeah, indeed. There's a big corner that you got to set up for. And here's the, I guess, lack of a better term, back straightaway. Very twisty section through here, and again, a lot of blind corners sweeping down and up the track that you can't see. So you got to make sure you set up for it. Ooh, looks like you got hit.
A little handbrake there, I believe, by the 00. And heading into this last little section here, Finny, a little S's left, right, left, then back onto the front straightaway. And this is where you narrowly miss the pit wall here, Finny. And you got to sling this car sideways, just missing the end of that barrier before you get on throttle and shift all the way to the top of 6th gear.
Yeah, what's going to be very what these guys really need to master is using the, you see, Lindsay just,
not going to work.
Ooh, trying to show off there with the handbrake.
Right, as we're watching, oh, there he goes up on top of the
Yeah, we
fence.
could try to find someone going through the road course section here. We'll ride on board with David Wilson in the 39. But you watch these corners here. I think what's going to be really big in a lot of these corners is braking, is turning with the brakes here, and just kind of making the car pitch which way you want it to go, because that's really the best way to get these things to rotate.
Uphill, you have to kind of slide this car sideways a little bit, hit the curbs on the right, and then you got to get this car settled and planted for this 180-degree left-hand turn.
Yeah, and here's where you want to be turning left, and then dab the brake a little bit to force the car to turn left. And you also want to do something similar here as they go through the top of the hill over here and then down. And you see, whoa.
Setting cones flying.
Yeah. Here, this corner here especially, really just tap the brake a few times, get the car to rotate to the left, and then back to the right. And you also want to watch that there's a big mound of asphalt just sitting there when they come back onto the oval. If you hit, you will go flying up in the air.
I guess it's kind of a curb. It serves the same purpose. But all right, so we're about 2 minutes away from the start of this one, Finian. The grid is going to be sorted, and then we go for 10 minutes just to set the order for the full race here that's coming up just after. So this is really the first round. It's essentially a heat race, essentially, but all the drivers will carry on to the second race tonight. That'll be a separate session later in the evening. But again, we've made a couple laps now around the Roval, and Finian, this track is looks simple on paper, but in practice, you see Zielinski running wide there. It's a pretty tricky track to master with all the elevation changes.
And also, very quick track here. You guys are running a minute lap times around this course here in these cars. So minute 2 is the fastest time at the moment. So that's the kind of times that these guys are putting down. And from the looks of it, we were shaping up to see a finish like we saw last week in race number 1, where guys were close on fuel. You can go 11, for my calculations earlier, you can go 11 minutes on a tank of fuel, and we know the race is 10 minutes.
Do you think that the fuel strategy will shift a little bit because you're on throttle a little bit less around here than you are at Homestead?
I think that, and also combined with, I think these guys realize that if they can just save a little bit, short shift a little bit throughout the race, you'll be able to save enough fuel to make it to the end. And I think we'll see definitely a lot more drivers try it this time, since they were able to see that last time guys were able to stay out, and all the guys that stayed out, they finished in the top 3.
Let's take a look at the conditions here tonight. 106-degree track temperature here, Finny. That's a little toasty, and I think we're going to see drivers struggling for grip a little bit. Again, these cars are all-wheel drive and have upwards of 600 horsepower, but most of that power is just in the forward direction. The lateral grip of these things, not so great once you pitch them sideways. We might see some handbrake action in the slower corners, especially entering the road course portion that is outside the back straightaway that we're looking down right there in the center of your screen. But conditions can be a little bit challenging tonight.
Yeah, indeed. And the thing with the handbrake, you can definitely use it, but you lose a little bit of time when you use it. It's always usually better to kind of avoid it, but you definitely can use it to try to make up some time if you want. But the big thing is you're going to start wearing out those tires, and really, this is not going to matter too much in race number 1 with it being 10 minutes. You can pretty much make it to the end without pitting. But in race number 2, these guys can carry their tires through all 25 minutes, but again, it depends on how much they use them.
Warm-up complete here at the New Hampshire Roval. We're going to grid them up and go for 10 minutes to set the grid for race number 2. And again, standing start here, Finney. We saw a frantic start last time. A couple of drivers ran wide in turn 1. There was space to do that at Homestead, but not at New Hampshire. There's a nice big concrete wall with a tire barrier up against it down in the first couple corners. You don't want to run yourself into that. And you can see there is the turn 1 wall. And again, being an oval, first turn, this is where you can kind of pitch the car sideways, but you don't really want to handbrake through here. You're going to want as much grip as you possibly can. And really, the handbrake is just to change direction, and it's very violent when you do that.
And also really mainly for the slower corners, so really the corners getting onto the road course and getting off of it.
We're just waiting on Corey Lindsay to grid up now. Everyone else, 19 drivers in the field for this first race here in the second round of the RovalCross series for the 3Wide Racing League Triple Crown. And last week at Homestead was quite a show. We're going to see that again here tonight at New Hampshire, a 1.55-mile road course in the state of New Hampshire. It's a beautiful racetrack up here. NASCAR comes here. Used to come here twice a year. Now it's just once. But RovalCross visits. Lights are on. We're ready to go racing here for 10 minutes. And it's Wilson in the 39 on the outside of the front row alongside Drew Eisenman. Green flag in the air. We're racing here at New Hampshire.
You see everyone get a fantastic start, especially Jordan Teal up the inside of Wilson. Wilson getting a poor start as they're 3 wide into turn 1.
3 wide into turn 1, but it looks like, is that Zielinski that popped out in front? So Zielinski moves up a few spots, gets second away. We head down towards the oval exit over into the road course portion here. Tight corners here. Don't get yourself into trouble. A little bit of contact towards the rear of the field. A couple drivers running wide, but I think everyone got through there relatively unscathed.
Ooh.
A couple bumps and bangs there.
Oh, and someone off the track and trying to join back.
51 is around. That's 13. It's actually the 13 car of Liam Sheen. He's spun around over there.
Sam closes the car off the track trying to get back on. Got into Liam Sheen, but up at the front, Drew Eisman's broken out to a small half-a-second lead over Levi Zielinski in second.
Nothing new there. Eisman was really good last week, but how about Jordan Teal? 3 wide move on the start. He's looking really strong. Here's a good battle. That's Kyle Hanshaw, one of the only Ford Fiestas here tonight in that number 22 car. A little bit loose on the curb here, right behind the 63 of Stevens.
Yeah, Kevin Finn there on the outside. Now both the Fords fighting for a position. They see in the inside. Stevens sideways in the Subaru paint scheme. And Acosta with a slowdown. I think he went wide in the final corner. You can get a slowdown there. Yep,
and you don't want to cut yourself a whole lot in these corners, Finney, and the curbs are wide, and they give you a lot of space to cut. I think Hanshaw's serving one as well. He's got to slow down, and he's going to lose a few spots here.
Yeah, tough break for him. He's going to have to let Acosta on by, and potentially more here as he's really slow into the into this heavy braking zone to the road course.
Sam Close trying to recover from that lap 1 incident. Dave Hunt in the 53 right behind him as they climb the hill again for lap number 2. 53 is going to slide around, jumps the berm. He'll keep it going thanks to that all-wheel drive. Here comes Corey Lindsay in the 00 Subaru.
Yeah, he jumped a curb and that launched him off the track, so he's able to get it back going again in the right direction.
Lindsay is going to take that spot away as they head towards the uphill. Very technical racetrack here. How about the battle for third heating up? That's David Wilson in the purple and white VW and Jordan Teal in the WRX behind him.
Yeah, these guys are all very close together here, the top 5. And especially keeping my eye on Jordan Teal. We saw he was one of the fastest cars that race, and Matt Grunberg into the pits early.
Strategy here, Finney, and I think he knows he might have to make a pit stop, so he might as well go for it. Some more drivers on pit lane. I think that's Wade Lear and Sam Close in the 11 and the 5 respectively, as well as I think Chad Brown. No, he's staying on the racetrack all over the rear bumper of Dave Hunt, who I believe has looked like he had a bunch of nose damage. Guess he didn't.
Yeah, so I think this is the kind of guy who's doing almost Joker strategy here. What you see in normal rallycross racing, where you see these guys take the Joker to get themselves clean air and clean tracks. I think we might be seeing that from Grunberg here.
Jordan Teal started 4th, running 4th right now, climbing the hill behind 3rd place David Wilson. And this is such an interesting part of the racetrack. You're throwing the weight side to side, and then you have to get it pointed between these two barriers and miss that curb on the right. Excellently done by Teal in the 33.
Yeah, you can see just gaining a little bit of time on Wilson. Here they are into the final few corners of the lap.
And accelerating onto the straightaway, just missing that barrier. Wouldn't be surprised to see someone accidentally clip that tonight with how close you have to run there to make speed. Sam Close still on pit lane in the number 5 car. Oh no, it's not on pit lane. He's back out on the racetrack and looped it. Let's take a quick look. You're balancing on the edge of grip. Maybe he gave a little handbrake here, or what happened here, Finney?
It just ran wide. I think he tried to take as wide of an entry as he could, caught some sand, and around the car went.
The 5-car Sam Close not off to a fantastic start, running in 17th right now. Up front, Eisenman's got a 1.3 second lead over Wilson, but Tate Lytle and Jordan Teal battling for third now. Fourth make it. Lytle just took that spot away from the
and Teal ran wide, and here comes to the inside of him, Josh Batista. And Batista's going to have to back off of that.
Wilson's wide, I think.
Yeah.
It was for a second. Lytle closed in that gap on him.
Yeah, Lytle on a charge. You saw Lytle also do very well in these machines, still doing the same this week here in New Hampshire.
Started 12th up to 4th. Huge climb, 8 spots in 4 laps. That's a very impressive
Yeah, I remember in this heat race, which is in this qualifying race that's setting up for the feature right after this, these guys get 10 points for first, down to 1 point for 10th. So points on the line here still for these guys. And Lytle doing a great job getting himself in a points-picking position. Still not done yet. He's going to go to the outside of Wilson.
That's going to put him in the primary passing opportunity down here into the oval exit corner. Into the hairpin. Lytle's going to take that spot away, slides, but Wilson returns the favor on the inside. 2 Beetles doing battle up the hill in New Hampshire.
I see Lytle pinch on exit. Speaking of pinching behind them, Jordan Teal holding off Batista. Batista is sideways with him.
So Lytle has taken the spot away from Wilson. Jordan Teal has slipped to 5th. Kyle Hanshaw and Corey Lindsay fighting for 10th place right now. 5 minutes to go. We're halfway through this first race.
Halfway indeed. Expecting to do about 10 laps.
A lot of dynamics going on inside these race cars, and we saw Corey Lindsay being aggressive with the handbrake in practice, being a little bit more careful with it now. There's Kyle Hanshaw just up the road in one of the lone Fiestas working his way down the hill.
And you can see Hanshaw playing with a handbrake here in 10.
There's Dave Hunt recovering. We got a car spun around. It's Chad Brown. Nope, it's
car behind them.
Derbyshire, I believe.
I think Derbyshire.
Yeah, it's heading down into. He's really struggling with his connection tonight, but we'll stay with him as long as we can here. Just heads down and just outbrakes himself. Could not get that thing slowed down and packs it into the tire barriers in the hairpin.
Yeah, these things don't have the best brakes in the world. Tend to lock up quite a bit, which again is what you want in a rally, guys. You want to lock up the tires and slide a lot.
They don't really even have good brakes.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not the best in the world; they're just not good.
Yeah, and they're just again not designed to race on a conventional road course. They're designed to slide around on whatever surface they're on.
Batista climbing forward to the number 17. He started in 11th up to 5th, so not quite as impressive as a climb as Lytle, but he's coming forward.
Yeah, indeed, starting to come forward here. He's going to have to fight with Wilson now for 4th place.
Gotta be careful sliding wide on that corner. You can get yourself a slowdown. Looks like he gets away with it for now, but is closing on Wilson last time by about 0.8 of a second quicker.
Oh, he's going to try to send it up the inside of Wilson here. I've been seeing Wilson take this interesting line here. You'll see him try to cut down on the apron as well as Batista there taking it to the wall. And you can see the incredible amount of time he gains here. He comes to the inside of Wilson.
I think Dave Hunt has had an issue here, Finney. Oh, looks like the 17's going to run out wide. Wilson to get back by. Teal brings the fight back to him, but Dave Hunt has fallen. Oh, it looked like he had fallen down the order again. Wow, he went for quite an excursion. Gets into it with Corey Lindsay and goes sliding over the edge of the racetrack. And had to climb back onto it here. Had to make a decision of where to go. He got stuck. And it's hard to get these things turned back around.
Yeah, so he was trying to get back on the side of the track. He was, but he found a wall there, so he had to do the entire road section. Oh, and he actually tried to jump over the road section again, so...
Eisenman being tracked down by Zielinski here, Finney. We have about 3 laps to go, and Zielinski has caught him. 0.7 of a second separating the top 2 right now.
Yeah, indeed. Zielinski starting to close in. Last time through, Zielinski was 0.6 of a second faster, so if he keeps that pace up, he should be able to get to Eisenman.
Gap is now 0.8 of a second. They work their way through NASCAR 1 and 2 and down into the hairpin. Such an important corner to set yourself up for the rhythm section in the... I guess really it's not the infield, it's the outfield here in New Hampshire, but climbing the hill now, trying to draw in Eisenman, but both these guys very, very talented. Battle for 4th right now going on. Wilson, and I see some more cones flying. I think these guys are getting a little bit frisky back here.
Yeah, indeed they are. Wilson falling back now to 5th place, and now going to have to try to defend Jordan Teal. Hold him off in 6th place. Here you see Lindsay and Hanshaw side by side.
And Grunenberg trying to come back. That's the slow car on the side. That's Jordan McKeevoy, who was stuck on the side of the racetrack trying to wait for these guys. Hanshaw runs a little bit wide. He's going to lose a spot to Grunenberg in the 54.
And Hanshaw going to give him the spot. Here comes Grunenberg. Grunenberg really struggling. He was up there in the front earlier. I think he ran into some problems. That mired him back a few places, but here you see Hunt now holding off Liam Sheen.
Both these guys have had problems tonight, but trying to recover, and get top 15s. 19 cars have entered here tonight. Meanwhile, battle for the lead is closed in a little bit. 0.6 of a second, about 2 laps to go. We'll have get white flag next time by. Eisenman's wide a little bit. Zielinski closed big time through there.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, I just remember why Grunberg was back there. I believe he was one of the drivers that came into the pits early on in the race. So that mired him back a few spots here. The leaders now, we'll see if they decide to pit on the last lap. Although at this point, I kind of doubt it.
No, I don't think they will. I think Grunberg might have been pitting just to be safe. Don't think you needed to this time.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see what these guys do coming through the final few corners if they decide to, indeed. But they should barely have enough to make it to the end.
Lytle and Batista continue to battle for third. Both these guys started towards the rear of the field, doing battle now. Batista to the inside. Lytle shuts the door, but up front, they're going to skip the pits. White flag in the air. Eisenman and Zielinski separated by just about a car length and a half.
Yeah, this is going to be tight here. Does Zielinski use the bumper here? You can definitely use it, but you got to be careful. You got to expect the revenge.
Trying to get every ounce of power out of this thing that he can. And this is really the important corner. It's so easy to overdrive the hairpin. Does Eisenman blow it again? He's another little hot. So is Zielinski, but I think Zielinski got through there just a little bit better.
Yeah, he took that corner beautifully. Now, again, he's sliding on top of the hill as they head down into the toe of the outfield.
Batista has gotten around Lytle for third place and moved to 17 to P3. I just don't think Zielinski's got enough to go get Eisenman. The white flag is in the air, so the checker will be out the next time they're by. There's some lap traffic. It's a 63 up the road of Mike Stevens. I don't think he's going to be a factor. Coming back to the checkers, just one more corner sequence left. There's a car wide. I think there was Hanshaw knocking the cones off in the background. 2 more corners left. Zielinski trying to throw it in there, but I don't think he's going to get there in time. There's that lap down car. It wasn't the 63 of Stevens, but coming to the checkered, Drew Eisenman will start on pole in the next race.
Yeah, he'll take pole indeed ahead of Levi Zielinski. Then we got Josh Batista. He's going to come home in third. Tate Lytle fourth. Jordan Teal fifth. David Wilson sixth. Kevin Finn in seventh. Mike Stevens is going to come across the line. He's going to come home in eighth.
And Carlos Acosta was able to recover from that lap 1 incident.
Oh, still not done yet.
Yeah, he's got about 5 seconds on Grunberg here, so provided he doesn't have a major slowdown, he should come home in 9th place. Grunberg will come home in 10th after making a pit stop. That's impressive work there by the 54.
Yeah, indeed. Was just able to get into the final points-paying positions tonight here in the top 10.
So that'll wrap up everyone crossing the line here. I think there's a few more drivers left, but crazy race here, Finian. We saw some great battles up front, but let's take a look at our results. Of course, we have to do the actual race here in just a couple minutes. This is just setting the grid. Eisenman, Zielinski, Batista, Lytle, and Jordan Teal are top 5.
Yeah, indeed. And solid driving from Eisenman, who's only going to expand his points lead now at a lead of 3 points over Josh Batista, so that's going to expand now.
And Chad Brown not having a fantastic race in the 64. Neither did Jordan McKeeboy, who finished 19th, 1 lap down. Austin Derbyshire had some issues as well. But again, Eisenman and Zielinski, I think, are the hot ones heading into the race tonight. But keep an eye on Batista and Lytle, both of them from pretty far back on the grid. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes with the actual race and points-paying positions here in just a couple minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that is not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered lens? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
aiming for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back live to SimTV and the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finny Nakuna. Tonight we're here again for the second round of the 2019 3WideRacing League RovalCross Triple Crown. And Finny, in our first race night, the qualifier for this evening, and looks like Drew Eisenman and Levi Zielinski are the two guys to beat once again.
Yeah, indeed. I think they're definitely the class of the series at the moment. Again, Drew Eisenman, our points leader, going into tonight, and he's going to be trying to defend that lead, and I think he should have a pretty easy time doing so.
Conditions for this session tonight, 113 degrees in the track tent, Finny. That's real toasty out there. We didn't see a whole lot of issues with grip out there. It seemed like the all-wheel drive was holding on pretty nicely. We did see some drivers get stuck backwards on course, though, and it seems like these things are really tricky to get turned back around once you're backwards.
Yeah, indeed. The tires just kind of spin as much as you want to get the power down. There's just so much power. Again, 600 horsepower at their disposal here. So trying to get these cars rolling on dirt is not, from an initial start, is kind of hard to do. So I think we're going to see you guys potentially struggle with that again, although there should be a slightly more tame start than we saw in the qualifying race, with drivers pretty much sorted out by their speed.
Again, we're going to have at least one pit stop, probably
I would say two
more likely, with what we saw after last week's race at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Roval there. Tonight, a much tighter course here, Finney. This turn especially, I guess we'll call this turn 3, especially tight here, Finney, and on that opening lap, you got drivers making dives to the inside, and there's really not a whole lot of space between this wall and the one that the camera's sitting on, so you got to be careful to not get yourself in trouble early.
Indeed, as time runs out in warm-up, we're going to get ready to put these guys on the grid here and get ready for the feature race here. 25 minutes on the clock.
25 minutes, and Finian, you're going to want to use every second of those 25 minutes to go catch the guys that have been quick all night, and I don't think have we had them organized here? There you go. They should. There we go. Yep. All set up. Drew Eisenman on pole. Levi Zielinski, the number 6 on the outside of the front row. Batista, Lytle, Teal, your top 5. Then rounding out your top 10, Wilson, Finn, Stevens, and Acosta. There is your starting lineup on the left-hand side of your screen. Of course, Zielinski not showing up properly in the ticker, so I don't think I have time to restart that. So
yeah, I would say you probably don't, unless you can do it in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, probably not. The problem with when the warm-up sessions are so close and so short is that when drivers don't load in immediately once the theme is started, they won't show up in the ticker.
Yeah,
so
also looks like Wade Lear isn't showing up as well.
The 6th car is Levi Zielinski, and Wade Lear in the number 11. He's 13th on the grid. Just keep those names in mind. We'll remind you as you're out on board with them here. But again, 13 seconds left of the gridding process. We'll turn them loose for 25 minutes. Two pit stops on tap. The 77 and the 6 car, I think, are your best bets, but don't count out Tate Lytle in that 56 or the 17 of Josh Batista in row 2.
Indeed, waiting for the lights to come on and extinguish.
Lights are on. We're waiting for them to go out, and green flag is not out yet. There it is. Green flag in the air. We're racing at New Hampshire.
Yeah, long wait for these guys. Looks like no one's jumped the start, and we're racing here down into turn 1.
4 wide. David Wilson in the middle of all that on the outside. He's going to get passed by a couple of drivers, but up for the lead is where the action's going to be, heading down into that turn number 3, the hairpin leading into the outfield section of this course. So far, 1, 2, and 3 getting sorted out, but behind a big gaggle, the 00 spins right in the middle of the racetrack. That's going to be a big issue for, I believe that's the 53, actually it's the 55 car, Sam Close, that got caught up in all that.
Yeah, these guys are going to lose a ton of time. Also, I saw Lytle chucking up the inside of Jordan Teal.
Eisenman's lost the lead here. Levi Zielinski's taking it away, and Lytle losing spots. The 63 is going to get turned and fly into the tire barriers. He's off the racetrack early here. He might be stuck.
Yeah, he went off the nose of Jordan Teal, and I think he is indeed stuck.
Oh, there he goes. He's got it unhitched there. Dramatic opening lap in the 25-minute race here. Jordan Teal is off track here, Finian, but for the lead, Zielinski and Eisenman, 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is still not over yet. Subaru 1, 2, and 3 at the moment there. Batista in 3rd place. He's hungry for a spot.
Mike Stevens still stuck sideways here, Finian, trying to get that thing sorted out. Now he gets rolling. But for the lead, 3 guys in a tight battle here.
And Zielinski, Eisenman, Batista, your top 3 as they head off onto the oval exit.
Locking up there by the leader, Zielinski. Surprised that Lytle has been the slowest of this group so far. He seemed like he was the quickest in the first race, but has a little bit of work to do here.
Yeah, he made a very ballsy move on lap 1. Looks like he's got the pace here for these leaders. I think he wants to have a fight with them, challenge up for the lead. But the top 4 seem to have broken away from the rest of the field, all bunched up together here, and this is definitely far from over.
We might see some pit strategy playing around here, but I think that 77 of Eisenman's still quick, but Batista gets turned a little bit there by Lytle. I don't know if there was contact, but it certainly looks like it for a second. But now for the lead, here comes Eisenman to the inside, tight corners here on the front straight, just missing that wall.
Yeah, and Zielinski, he's got to slow down. He's going to let Lytle on by and Batista, so tough break for Zielinski in the 6th.
He makes some more work for himself, but for the lead, Lytle has gone from 4th to 2nd in just about a half a lap and is all over the rear bumper of that 77 for the lead.
Yeah, we see mostly Subarus dominate these races, but here comes a Beetle now trying to change that up. That's Tate Lytle to 56.
Jordan Teal has retired that race car. Kevin Finn, Kyle Hanshaw, and Derbyshire all in the pits. And Hanshaw's back out on track now. I hear another car to the inside, and hello, that's Batista slipping on through for second place.
Yeah, solid pass by Batista, and again, big fighting amongst the top three. And these guys gotta be careful because if they start slipping up, they can easily let Eisenman get out of their view.
Yeah, Eisenman's been a lot quicker in all the races we've seen so far this season. He walked away with it last week, and currently doing that right now, a second up the road from Batista, but we'll see what the lap times are this time through. A 102.4 for Eisenman, a 102.5 for Batista, so Eisenman's still got a little bit of an advantage for now. Let's take you on back through the field just a little bit. Here's Liam Sheen and Sam Close battling for 8th place. Close to the inside. He got backed up behind the spinning 00 of Corey Lindsay on the opening lap, looking for a little bit of redemption. Up to 8th. Sheen on the outside, fighting back though for now.
Indeed, impressive recovery for Sam Close, all things considered.
Ooh,
Was in
that's
the back
deep
of the field.
on the brakes. Can he get it woed down in time? Looks like he does. And we'll take up 8th place.
Yeah, so Sam Close moving himself up into 8th place. He's got in 7th Wade Lear up the road.
Wade Lear, that number 11, one of the other drivers that is not showing up on the ticker due to the technical issue there. But for the lead here, Eisenman still has an 0.8 of a second lead, but I think Batista's reeling him in here.
Yeah, we'll check the lap times as they come across the line here to complete this lap, and we'll compare the lap times.
Eisenman in the number 77 comes across the line. This time through, he's going to put in a 102.1, and a little bit quicker 102.1 for Batista, about 0.07 quicker. So that 17 car is closing, albeit not very much.
And you see the different lines they're taking to Eisenman going hot, entering high, cutting down low, and Batista remaining low for the entire corner. Here they come.
And Eisenman getting a pretty good run out of the hairpin, but Batista still on the charge. Tate Lytle's dropped off the pace a little bit, and Zielinski behind him still has some work to do. Everyone else kind of spread themselves out, but we got to remember we have to make 2 pit stops tonight, so there's still some work to do, and I think Tate Lytle off course in the hairpin there.
Yeah, went a little bit off course, lost a lot of time. Zielinski's now starting to reel him back in, so potential battle for 3rd place heating up.
Quickest car on the track last time through was 2nd place Batista. And I think we might have a battle on our hands here in about a lap and a half.
Oh, an interesting entry to that corner there. Ooh, went wide on exit. Does he get a slowdown?
Don't think so. Still full throttle for now. And Eisenman, that time through, was a 10th quicker than Batista. So they're trading blows at the moment for best lap time. 19 minutes to go. Still a long race left and 2 pit stops. Kyle Hanshaw's already been down pit road twice, but sitting in 15th, that race is not going the way he wants it to go.
Yeah, he definitely could be going a lot better for him. He's already pretty much out of the running that many laps down. We only have 24 laps here. Around 24 laps.
Zielinski in the number 6 car had a slowdown on lap number 3. Is now recovering. He's trying to get back by Lytle for 3rd place. But Lytle's very, very quick, but I think Zielinski's a tad quicker right now.
And sorry, not Zielinski. Lytle made the same mistake last lap. He went wide on the exit of that turn and then caught the dirt, so he lost more momentum. And here comes Zielinski now all over him for 3rd place.
Do this little right, left, right combination here to round out the lap. Out wide, it's so easy to get a slowdown there, but Zielinski still continues to close to the wall in the front straight, but Eisenman up front has continued to pull away from Batista now. Consistently quicker, 4/10 faster that time through, so Eisenman stretching his lead. The rest of the field beginning to spread out. The closest battle is for 3rd.
Yeah, need a lot of guys to kind of settle into their runs here. And kind of the middle part of this run. And
Zielinski
Zielinski's
hard
sliding.
on the brakes. Maybe a little handbrake action there, but we talked about this pre-race, Finian. I don't know if the handbrake is really the best or the quickest way around here.
Yeah, all it really kind of does, I mean, it might help you to recover the car and save it, but overall, you're going to just be using up your tires. And Matt Grunberg in the pits there.
Early pit stop for the 54. I think we might see some people trying out some strategy. I think Eisenman's probably going to run that tank out in Vencom. We saw him eke a lot of fuel out last week. What about Batista, though? Does he short pit? Does he overcut? What's the strategy here?
It's kind of up to the driver here. You might try to cut this into perfect thirds stints. He might come in after completing lap 8. That'll be the most perfect way to kind of split this up. But it is kind of up to the driver on when they decide to come in.
Battle for third continues. Lytle just ahead of Zielinski by half a second. 17 minutes to go. We're 8 minutes in. And about a third of the way done with this race, so I would assume we'd start seeing some people come. We saw Grunberg come. Now Corey Lindsay maybe thinking about coming as well. Hasn't pit yet. He's one of the farthest back drivers that has not made a pit stop. The top 11 still have yet to make a single one. Grunberg has made 2 alongside Kyle Hanshaw, but they still need to come once again. For the lead, though, Eisenman's lost a little bit of ground to Batista. Now it's a half a second. It was 1.3 a couple laps ago.
Yeah, Batista's really keeping on his back bumper here, and you see Zielinski ahead of Lytle.
Still that spot away, and we'll probably begin to stretch this gap out. Again, Zielinski is quicker than Lytle has been for the last couple laps, but just needs to avoid those slowdowns. He's gotten a couple of them tonight.
Yeah, these guys are going to trudge on for another lap.
I'm just really curious to see what the pit strategy is going to be. With 16 minutes to go, we can go about 10 and a half minutes or so on fuel. Maybe a little bit longer just due to the more off-throttle time around New Hampshire versus Homestead where we were last week. So keep that in mind. A little bit of a flash there by Batista, but still reeling in Eisenman. It's less than half a second now.
Yeah, I would say it would be kind of a long shot if you try to stretch it all the way to the end, but if you try, I mean, more power to you. So we'll see what these guys got up their sleeves. Maybe they can try to stretch it, but it's a tall order.
Closest battle on the track is for the lead. Everyone else getting their own space on the track, trying to conserve fuel maybe, getting into a rhythm, and I think this track is really rhythm-based. There's so little room for error. At Homestead, you could probably get away with a slip and slide here and there because of all the grass runoff, but here it's a fence if you run wide.
And you know, a lot of the corners are dependent on the exit of the corner that preceded it, so that comes into effect.
The lap 10 for the leader. About 15 laps to go. 15 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, at the pace these guys have been running at, I think they probably should be coming down to the pits this time by, maybe even next time. But next time will be kind of stretching it.
And I think Batista's a little bit quicker in the first sector, and Eisenman's better in the latter half of the course. We're right on board with the number 17.
I think this is just a matter of Batista just trying to find where he can beat Eisenman, where he can potentially set up a pass. I think other than that, he's going to have to hope on Eisenman making a mistake, and that's a tough thing because Eisenman's been probably one of the most consistent drivers in the series so far.
Yeah, he's definitely consistent, he's definitely fast, and hasn't made a lot of mistakes yet. And we've seen Zielinski be incredibly quick, but has those mistakes, as well as David Wilson and Carlos Acosta, both drivers that are very fast. Even Lytle you could throw in that camp as well, has made some mistakes here and there. But for the lead, there's Eisenman making a little bit of a bobble to pit road this time. Both of the front leaders are going to come on down.
Oh, and you see Batista right up behind Eisenman. And they're going to lead each other down.
It's a good strategy to come in right with them.
And Lytle staying out on the track. Interesting call there.
So Zielinski will inherit the lead with 14 minutes to go, but the two leaders and a lot of other drivers are following them down. David Wilson, that's Wade Lear in the 11, and Sam Close in the 5, all following the leaders down pit lane. And just fuel only, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, these guys really don't need to take tires if you look after them, at least just a little bit. And Batista
comes out strong, but not quite going to be able to get in front of Eisenman.
Oh, no, and I think, is there a blue cone on this track?
I don't think there's a blue cone here,
I saw a blue cone.
Is there a blue cone? I don't think there is.
Let's try to ride on board with Eisenman real quick. I could have sworn I've seen a blue cone around here.
No, there is.
Yep, and that
could be. They give you a little bit of leeway now. He might have gotten away with it, but maybe not. Dave Hunt, I believe, is on pit lane taking tires, interestingly. But we'll keep an eye on the 77. He might have to come back down to serve a penalty for a blend line violation, which means that there is a line that you're not allowed to cross when exiting pit lane, and the 77 drifted above it for a moment, but was it too long?
Now here's what Eisenman should do, because you get about 3 laps, I believe, to serve a black flag.
Run it out, pit again.
And pit for fuel. So we'll see what he does here if he comes back in. And he's going to stay out.
So either he doesn't have a penalty or he's going to wait on it. We'll keep following the story, but the other leaders, Zielinski and Lytle, are in for their pit stops, and Lytle up on the jacks, tires for him too. Interesting move there, Finian.
Yeah, he's going to lose about 6 seconds to Zielinski. Zielinski, yep,
there he goes.
There he goes, and you see how much time Lytle's going to lose.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. I don't really think they make a huge difference around here.
No, they really don't, again, unless you abuse them. So Lytle going to take tires on his stop. Acosta just going to be fuel only for him. And here is the battle for the lead here.
0.3 of a second separating these two. Again, we still don't know the results of Eisenman's penalty
And
call
neither,
here.
and neither does Batista too. He saw Eisenman go off in front of him, but again, he doesn't know if he actually has a penalty.
Yeah, again, there is a little bit of a when that rule was first implemented, there was no leeway. If you cross that line, you got a penalty. Then, due to popular request, they gave you a little bit of room. And that might have been enough to save Eisenman's race, but we're going to see in about a lap or two if he has to come on down and serve a penalty through the last chicane. Will he come on down? Will he stretch it another lap? He's going to have to, if he goes one more lap, he could probably go from there on fuel.
Yeah. So, a curse might have been a blessing, this guy, so you never know here, because then it'll be interesting, especially because both those guys will be out in clean air, so it's really going to be a matter of who's got the fastest car.
Matt Grunberg is doing a lot with very little. He's already pitted twice and is still in 5th place. And the next driver that's pitted twice is Chad Brown, who's down in 14th place, so that 54 car doing quite well with what the hands he's been dealt tonight. Batista continues to run in 2nd place, about a half a second behind Eisenman. 3 drivers out, make that 4. Kyle Hanshaw is retired from the race now, alongside Jordan Teal, Kevin Finn, and Austin Garbashine.
I think now all eyes are going to be on whether Eisenman comes down. Because I think if he comes down now, that'll mean that he had the penalty. If he stays out, I think he might have gotten away with it, which I would be utterly shocked if he did.
That was a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, because I saw all 4 tires go
I think it's a time-based thing. I don't think it's the number of tires or how far you went. But he stays out on track, so I think he's good. And through lap number 13, make that lap, we're starting lap 14, so it'll be about 10 to go the next time around. 10.5 minutes remaining. Eisenman's led most laps tonight. How about a battle for 5th between Wilson and Lytle?
Oh,
that's the 63 of Stevens, out of shape on the front straightaway, and has spun it out and back against the fence.
Yeah, and he's a lap down and struggling in that car. He's trying to get it looped around again.
Yeah, one thing that's pretty underrated in these cars is how difficult they are to shift from first to reverse and vice versa.
Oh, and he was sideways all the way through the
he
front
clipped
stretch.
the fence, actually. Clipped the wall. And just looped it around innocently. No harm done to anyone else there. A battle between Lytle and Wilson has traded positions, but for the lead, 2/10 separating our leaders. Eisenman just up the road in front of Batista.
Eisenman taking a big chunk of curb here. Here comes Batista all over his back bumper.
Over the curbs, you're definitely within your fuel window now. I'd be surprised if we didn't see them on pit road soon, but they're going to choose to stay out again.
Yeah, I think they might potentially try to run the tank out or get relatively close to it.
And Batista's been better in this first sector. When they get into the tight and twisty stuff, that's where Eisenman begins to pull away. But this race is definitely not over yet. Hard on the brakes for the 17, goes around the outside. Not going to have a whole lot of grip out there. We'll have to tuck back in behind the 77.
Yeah, and he's just trying to find a way around him. And just can't seem to find the line he needs. And I think, honestly, he should try to pit ahead of Eisenman, try to get some clean air. Because I think if he gets that, he might be able to get around him.
We're comparing the difference on track between him and Eisenman, but the bubbles are pretty much on top of each other. Doesn't get a whole lot closer than this.
Yeah, indeed. Looking at their best lap times, Batista's faster by about 0.07 of a second. So very close between these two drivers on time. So it's really going to come down to who makes a mistake first.
Stayed out on track again this time through, but Batista's got a great run. Can he do anything with it to the inside or the outside? Down into NASCAR turn 1. Entering a little bit higher, maybe trying to cross him over for the entrance to turn number 3. He's going to try to build a run here, get through the gears, down on the apron on corner exit. Now looking in to the exit of the oval. Hard on the brakes. Does anybody lock up and make a mistake here? Eisenman goes a little bit defensive, but it's not going to quite be enough for Batista to get around. Grunberg has an issue. He's back down in pit lane. Never mind. That's a scheduled stop for the 54.
Yeah, he can make it to the end from here, so scheduled stop for him.
8 minutes left here at the New Hampshire Roval.
Ooh, and Eisenman got a little bit of the dirt there, as we saw Lytle do earlier, and Grunberg struggled to get
Disaster
into
for
a stall.
Grunberg. Yep, he screwed up this pit sequence here. He had to back up.
Oh, yeah. I think he missed the stall.
Big time. And these things do not have a great turning radius either. So
no, yeah.
now he leaves pit road, but he's going to lose all that ground he had gained back, but continuing to battle for the lead. Missing the pit boxes once again. Eisenman and Batista stay out on track. Now it's a duel between these two. I don't really think we're going to see any position swaps on pit lane, so it's whoever is going to be the most aggressive out on the track. I think Batista's giving it everything he can do to get around that 77.
Yeah, I think he's setting up a big run down here into the oval exit. You can see how much time he gained back.
Crossover here potentially. Eisenman's a little bit wide. Here comes the 17 to the inside. Can he get the power down? Not quite.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw him try to aim for Eisenman to shift him offline. Couldn't do it though. But they're coming up on some lap traffic here.
Eisenman's gonna have to dispose of one of those Beetles there. That is the. I'm trying to see who that is. Actually, it's Kyle Hanshaw just up the road, and that 00. Who is that? It's in the Beetle. It is Chad Brown in the 64. And maybe make a pit stop here not to lose time to the lap cars. I think that'd be a smart decision, but they're going to skip it, I think. They're going to the right. Yeah. Wow, close quarters there with Brown on the inside.
Yeah, the lap cars letting them on by, letting them stick to their own battle.
And this time Batista takes a tighter line through 1 and 2. The 77 is going to chop the nose down on corner exit.
And get the run, too, on exit as well over the 20. So, over the 17.
Oh, he's hard on the brakes. He overshot, and here comes Batista to the inside. Pass for the lead. Josh Batista takes it away after Eisenman makes one mistake at the New Hampshire Roval.
And Eisenman tried to do the crossover there. It's so hard to do on that uphill portion, so he's going to have to settle in behind Batista now, make sure that he doesn't lose him, because this is the first time we're going to see Batista at his true pace. He's now out in front with clean air.
Yeah, Eisenman made one mistake, and Batista was able to capitalize. So now Josh has to learn from that and not let Drew back by. So no mistakes for the 17 car here. If he makes one, Eisenman's going to be ready to pounce. When do they make their final pit stop? 5.5 minutes to go here in the 3WideRacing Triple Crown RovalCross category.
If I was Eisenman, I would come in now, but he's going to stay out, continue this.
Oh, Hanshaw hard into the fence out of NASCAR 4, and I think the 64, Chad Brown, took a good look at it, too.
Yeah, both of them came flying out of the last corner into the wall.
Batista was 0.8 quicker last time through. He is on a rail right now.
Yeah, and you can see him starting to gap Eisenman already through just half a lap alone, so Batista's starting to build a gap to Eisenman. Eisenman's got to find some speed late here in the running as we're coming down to 5 minutes left in this race.
No other battles close enough to tell you about other than Wade Lear and Sam Close battling for 6th, but we'll keep it on the lead as Batista's got to make one more pit stop here. They can easily make it to the end on fuel. They don't need it. Maybe they're just trying to see how long they can go so they can take less in the pit stop. That would be wise. Eisenman beginning to lose some of that pace that he had earlier in the night. He's been pretty much unstoppable so far in the season. But coming back out to the front straightaway, does Batista come in this time? No. Does Eisenman come in this time? No. They've just missed the end of that wall. 4.5 minutes to go. Make that 5 laps to go.
Yeah, indeed. Impressive driving from Batista, keeping it in there. You see him running wide, taking a late apex. He's going to get a lot of momentum, but yeah. Solid driving from him, just staying up behind Eisenman, putting pressure. And you see Hunt get into Grunberg.
Oh, hard in the tire barrier. Yeah, those guys got together out of the hairpin, and I think the 53 got on throttle a little bit too much, and that's what led to those guys getting together. Here's another look at it.
And then gone to worse for Grunberg, was struggling earlier on.
See Grunberg slide by on the inside. The 53 was already out of shape, got a tire off in the grass, knocks the 54 into the tire barrier. Big launch over those, and he's lucky he didn't get a lot more damage from that. Grunberg's night has not been going very good. He's usually on top of pretty much every series we've seen him in, but it's been a struggle so far.
It's been a struggle for him in the RovalCross. I don't think this style of racing suits him as much. We definitely see him do wonders in the Truck Series and expect to see him do wonders also in the Cup Series this season. But right now, struggling at the moment.
And they're getting close to getting back together here. Dave Hunt is just up the road. 3.5 minutes to go. Hunt and Grunberg. I don't think we're done here. Grunberg's hard on the brakes. He's hot into the corner. I think he's looking for blood at this point. A little bit upset.
Picks the cones with him.
Eisenman down on pit lane.
Oh, yeah, and Eisenman down on pit lane by himself. So interesting call there. So Batista's going to be out by himself in the lead. So now it's going to be a matter of comparing when these guys come down and how they match up with each other once the pits cycle through.
I think Batista's keeping a close eye on the gap between him and Eisenman. If he can run this thing out a little bit farther, he can take some less fuel. But anyway, paths for position again. Grunberg trying to get by Dave Hunt a little bit of fire in the 54's belly after that incident up at the top of the hill. Whoa! And there he gets on by without incident. 53 comes to pit road. Where's the leader? Here he is. Batista, does he pit this time?
Yep,
yes,
he is.
he's coming. So where is Eisenman? He is in the middle of the...
He's on the back half of the course.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. And you can see that's the 17 on pit lane. We're right on board with the 77 through the second part of the lap.
And you see 17, Batista's still not in his stall. He's just now pulled into his stall.
Levi Zielinski and Tate Lytle also in front of these guys, but Batista now in his stall. I think the 77 might get back around. Batista. Oh, no, here he comes. The 17 back out on track, but he's got to stay under that yellow line. He's wide out of it here, and that might be enough to get him a penalty, but we didn't see it before. We might not see it this time.
Yeah, I think he might have saw what Eisenman did and figured he didn't get a penalty doing so. He tried to copy the same. So Batista's going to still be out ahead of Eisenman, and Zielinski is actually currently our leader here.
Clumsy corner for Batista, lost some ground to Eisenman, but Zielinski's up the road. Still has to make a pit stop. I don't think he can make it last another 2 laps. That's how far he's going to have to make it.
I wonder, actually, I think he might, yeah, at the rate they're going, it's only going to be 1 lap. So if he can time this right, I think it's a huge stretch, but he might be able to do it. We'll see here if he decides to pit or not.
He only went 10 laps on the last stint, though, Finney. That's a big stretch.
Yeah. Let's see.
No, he's coming.
He's coming into the pits. So as he comes into the pits here, leaders are going to come down. White flag's going to be in the air for them.
Got one spinning in the background. It's the 53 of Dave Hunt, but to the line, it's going to be 1 more lap around the New Hampshire Roval. Josh Batista in the lead, 0.8 of a second over Drew Eisenman. These guys have been absolutely duking it out. Zielinski still on pit lane. The strategy's gone wrong for him. Where's Lytle across the line? Zielinski and Lytle were fighting most of the race, but now I think Lytle's going to win the war here.
Yeah, I think he is. I think Zielinski tried to make that strategy work, try to save some fuel, but it wasn't enough there. That was the only car he had to play, but here comes now Batista and Eisenman. Eisenman trying one last attempt to get back to him.
Just about a 0.9 of a second gap separating first and second as we come through the back half of the course. Carlos Acosta is slow. I think he's coming into pit lane on the white flag lap for him. Some lap traffic up ahead. I don't think it's going to be a factor, though. Batista's played his cards right, got through traffic, started in 11th in the qualifying race, ended up near the front row, and is coming through the last couple of corners, just about a second up the road from Drew Eisenman. And he has played the strategy to a T, runs a little bit wide, and so does Eisenman on corner exit, but checkered flag in the air. I think that should be checkered.
Oh, I guess not.
Guess not. We're going to get an extra lap here.
Or
that, no, it should be, thought it was going to be checkered.
Yeah, I thought it was.
We only had 50 seconds to go at the last lap, so I guess now it's the white flag. I'm not sure why that is, but we're still fighting for the spots here, guys. Coming through the middle of some lap traffic, that's the 63 of Stevens. Where does Batista go through the gap here?
He's going to shoot the gap, and here comes Eisenman on through as well.
Gap is closer now, 0.6 of a second. Gonna need a mistake. There is a mistake to the inside. Here comes Eisenman to take the lead away.
Oh,
is Batista stumbling?
Is he
He's out of fuel?
Did he? Oh, he must
because of the extra lap. He ran out of fuel. Horrible change of events.
Yeah.
Is Eisenman out too? No, he's still got power.
I think he's still. Wow, what a turn of events.
He's out too. Is he? No, he's still accelerating.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to make it back to the line here,
what
but tough
tragic
break
moment
for Batista.
And he's got to be wondering why the heck wasn't it white flag?
My only guess, as we cut to Eisenman, he's come across the line in first, and he's going to win the race. Lytle's actually just passed Batista, so Batista's going to be in third. He's still going to potentially drop down the order.
So
Zielinski out of fuel as well. I think he's fueled up only to just make it to the end, and this has caught so many people off.
I'm just shocked by this. This was an error, Finian. It was not supposed to go this extra lap.
Yeah, the only thing I can think is if we were scheduled to do 24 laps or 25 minutes, and the way racing works with that, when you have a distance or a time limit, once the timer runs out, another lap is added.
Oh, so there's a very important distinction between those two. And that is what caught out.
That's the only way I can see it doing. But I was under the assumption that it was only 25 minutes at that point when the timer runs out.
I think that's what it was supposed to be.
So
that's how it was last week. I thought as well.
I am not entirely sure what happened, but I'm sure Eisman doesn't care because he won the race because of that.
Yeah, it was close either way, though. They had 54 seconds. So it was only a difference between 7 or 8 seconds. That was the difference. But Eisenman is going to come out on top. And he definitely lucked into that one a little bit with the way the race ended up. But victorious again. Is that his second victory of the season? He swept both rounds so far in the Triple Crown, and he's going to burn it down here at the front straightaway. Or try to burn it down. Can't really do a whole lot in these cars. And he's going to send it for a drift. All right, here's a look at your results, Finian. A little bit tragic for the number 17 of Batista. Comes across the line in 7th place.
That's gonna sting. He was leading to what he assumed and what I think almost everyone thought would have been the checkered flag, and then it all of a sudden appeared that we needed to do one more lap.
And so many drivers got caught out. Kyle Hanshaw we saw slow coming to the line, and others. There's your results. Couple drivers didn't quite make it very far. Austin Derbyshire, Kevin Finn, Jordan Teal all out on the opening lap. And we had 10 drivers finish on the lead lap. Shout out to Liam Sheen for being the last one to finish on the lead lap. Dave Hunt, the first driver, 1 lap down. But Drew Eisman comes out on top again. We'll be back with the winner in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back live to SimTV here with 7th place finisher. And Josh, I know you're going to be a little bit upset about how that ended up. From our perspective, there was a timing and scoring issue that we saw where we were not supposed to get that extra lap. We actually crossed the line with 54 seconds to go and somehow got 2 laps out of that. So fuel strategy caught you out. What was it like from your perspective?
Well, yeah, you got it. It was I just thought we were going to get the white there at the end. We didn't, which sucked. But, yeah, just trying to save as much fuel as I could on that last lap. And other than that, it was an awesome race. It was a lot of fun racing Drew and being up front and stuff, which was fun. So
very strong performance. But as we head into the final round of the 3-wide RovalCross Triple Crown, do you think you can go out there and win? I mean, you got some impressive competition, but I think you were definitely capable of winning tonight. Just got caught out on strategy.
Yeah. We'll see what happens next week. I mean, it's the Charlotte Roval, so those curbs can be painful. And I think with these cars, you could see some flip if you hit them wrong. So I don't know. I think it's still going to be fun. But yeah, I'm going to go for it. Hopefully the random grid order in the first heat puts me at the front.
All right, Josh. Well, thanks for talking to us. And shame the way it turned out, but a very strong performance by the number 17 tonight. Thanks for chatting. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, now Matt Grunberg's going to be up next, driver of the number 54, and a very strong performance by Grunberg tonight. Matt, I believe you started, let's take a look here. You started back in 11th place. Or no, that's not correct. Sorry about that. 10th place. And ended up running 5th at the end. 3 pit stops tonight. One more than you had to do, but walk us through your night.
Well, I actually missed the start at the beginning. So starting 10th is a little bit generous. So I actually started about, 30 seconds behind. And, we were really behind the 8 ball there. I had problems loading in to the session. So I really just drove it as hard as I could. And I timed my pit stops to where I pitted on lap 4 and 15. I knew that once I pitted 15, I'd be good to make it to the end. And then on the second pit stop, I actually missed my pit. There was a car in front of my pit stop, and I didn't see my guy, and I drove past it about 3 pit stalls. So I backed up and pitted there. So we really had a strong Leggett and Platt Supra today, and I really thought we would be contending for a win, but fuel strategy in that heat kind of threw us back in the pack to 10th, and then the connection issues loading in really made it even worse. But it was a good finish coming back up to the 5th. I'd say it was a decent given all the circumstances, but I really wish we would have been contending for a win there.
Well, you had the second fastest lap tonight, and heading over to the Charlotte Roval next week. Expectations there? I mean, I think you're definitely capable of a win with that kind of pace.
Yeah, I don't really run too much of these road courses. It'll be my first time on the Charlotte Roval, and definitely the first time in a rally car on the Charlotte Roval. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll try to get one of these wins before this is all over with.
All right, well, Matt Grunberg comes home 5th place, the number 54. Thanks for chatting. We'll see you later.
Yep, thank you.
Tate Lytle, the next up to talk to, driver of the number 56 car. And Tate, tonight was a good race, and it ended up a little bit better than it was going to be, with a couple of drivers running out of fuel at the end. And a strange strategy call there by Zielinski, but coming home 2nd place, got to be happy with that, no?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with 2nd there. I don't think anyone had anything for Josh and Drew, but I was thinking I was going to run P3 there with Levi. I don't know why they didn't take tires. I took tires and was just catching them by like a second a lap past Levi, and I was content running 3rd, and guess they didn't put enough gas in and stole.
We head into Charlotte next week for the season finale. Expectations to run better there, and maybe take the candle to Eisenman and Josh there, or is it are you still chasing them on pace?
I mean, if I'm gonna run with them at a track, it's gonna be the Roval. We did a practice race there probably about 3 weeks ago, and me and I can't remember who else was up there, but I felt like I had pretty decent pace. So hopefully I can continue that there and keep the mistakes to a minimum and try to sneak 2nd or 3rd out in the points.
All right, Tate Lytle, 56, comes home 2nd tonight at New Hampshire. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Drew Eisenman, the 77, 2nd time this season. Wasn't without a little bit of drama, though. Walk us through those last couple laps.
Yeah, I burned my tires off, and I just couldn't get the throttle down like Josh did. I think he just did a little better job of conserving his stuff. And then he got by me, and I just tried to keep in touch, cycled through pit stops. I was kind of shocked that I came out as close as I did when he exited the pits. And then going into the last lap, I practiced a little move in practice, trying to wall ride turn 1, since you can kind of do whatever in this series, as long as you don't get a time penalty. And I gained some time with that, and then had some lap traffic, and then all of a sudden, I guess Josh didn't put enough fuel in, and then he ran out, and then from there was just not throwing it off the track. But a little bit more work this time than Homestead, but it was a lot of fun.
Also wondering about your opinion on, I'm not sure if you were aware of the time situation, but did you notice the timing coming to what ended up being 2 laps ago? We had 54 seconds left. We were supposed to only get 1 lap, and that's why we ended up having 2. And that's why the 17 ran out of fuel. So were you aware of that extra lap situation, or was that not even on your radar? You're just focused on winning?
I had no idea. I just drove until I saw the white and then the checkered. It's unfortunate because he drove a better race than I did, and he deserved to win if that kind of thing happened. So that's really unfortunate for him. But I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take what I can get.
All right, well, Drew Eisenman, victorious again here in the 3-Wide Triple Crown. Good luck to you next week at the Charlotte Roval, Drew. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was interviews here tonight at New Hampshire. Finian drama there, the closing laps. Again, you can roll back the tape. We were at 53, 54 seconds left when we came across the line. It ended up being 2 laps to go. So timing and scoring error there, or maybe just the way things worked out?
I think it was an error because I'm under the... And I double-checked to make sure that it wasn't scheduled for 24 laps. And indeed, it's a timed-only race. So whenever the timer hits to 0, the next time they get back to the line, it's supposed to be checkered flag. So... I guess might have been a small glitch on iRacing's side of things, and that really threw out quite a bit of the field out in a loop, and a lot of drivers end up coming to the line out of gas.
A little bit of a dramatic finish, but I think next week is the one I'm really excited for, Finian, the Charlotte Roval. A lot of these Rovals that are in iRacing and on a lot of these ovals are very impromptu. They don't have a lot. They're not very well put together. You know, New Hampshire's is probably one of the better ones, actually. It's got actual curbing and actual barriers. But next week we go to Charlotte, and that place is basically the Grade 1 FIA track equivalent of a Roval. It is beautifully put together. The curbs are tall and aggressive, and you're going to have to really chuck that thing around, but don't hit those turtles.
Yeah, indeed. And even you might think you have all the suspension you need to not hit them, but they will still mess up your car.
It'll be the championship round for the 2019 3-Wide Racing League RovalCross Triple Crown. I said that twice. But it's the Triple Crown for the RovalCross Series, the 3-Wide Racing League at the Charlotte Roval next week. And we're going to go curb hopping and door slamming at a very tight, twisty, and technical course. Tomorrow night, we've got 2 races on for you. Grid Life for their season finale at Mid-Ohio. The Fuel Racing League returns this week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The new high downforce 1.5 mile package. Wednesday night, the DC region SCCA takes on the Charlotte Roval. Thursday is the Scars Ferrari Challenge from Tsukuba. Friday night's VRL from ISM Raceway. Saturday, Outsider at Auto Club. That's what's coming up on SimTV the next week. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching and have a great night.